Man, this Ukraine and Russia war, this shit's getting kind of scary. Donald and Putin being bestest of friends. This is a relationship that's made in hell. This is Donald's Chamberlain moment. This is Donald capitulating. Remember when Adolf stabbed the USSR in the back? They signed a non-aggression pact, and then Adolf just stabbed him right in the back. That's what Donald is doing right now to the Ukraine. He's stabbing the Ukraine in the back like the dirty snake that he is. Not only has the United States president cut the funding from the Ukraine, they also cut the intelligence, the Maxar satellite images. The Ukraine has lost the access to the Maxar satellite imagery. But Elon's Starlink is still operational, of course. There's one report that said you had 15 people that were killed in Ukraine, and another one that said hundreds of Ukrainians were killed because of Donald's actions. That's from Time Magazine, time.com. If Putin stops the war, if Putin stops bombing and killing, the war is over. If Zelensky stops bombing and killing, well, the war will continue. This shit is getting scary. Remember Chamberlain? Right here is Neville Chamberlain. The Munich Agreement. Is this the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? We're going to have peace in our times. Don't worry, everybody. We're going to have peace in our times. Why? Because Neville Chamberlain went to Adolf Hitler. I mean, they went ahead and let him take the Sudetenlands, let him take Bohemia. Adolf Hitler promised he's not going to invade any other countries. Why would he invade Austria? Why would he invade Poland? Why would he invade France? Why would he be part of an axis of evil that's going to attack Pearl Harbor? That's not who Hitler is. Trust him, guy. Why would you not just trust his word? Of course, Adolf Hitler signed his name onto the agreement and broke the fucking treaty right away. Donald likes to say that the Ukraine invaded Russia. That's a lie. Come on, the Ukraine invaded Russia. Are you fucking kidding me? The Ukraine was a gift. The Ukraine was a gift. What was that, Russian, what was that guy's name? The USSR, that communist? Crimea. He gave Crimea to the Ukraine as a gift. He was from the Ukraine. Khrushchev. Khrushchev was from the Ukraine, and he gave Crimea to the Ukraine. Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia invaded Ukraine. Ukraine had to defend itself. What kind of piece of shit would tell a nation, a person, a people, a group? What kind of person would tell another entity not to defend itself? Donald also likes to say $350 billion. Oh, we've given the Ukraine $350 billion. Another fucking lie. Looks like the liar in chief just keeps on spouting off his lies. We've given the Ukraine less than $100 billion. Russia's got more troops than America has. Russia has more troops than America has. So no, Neville Chamberlain, we don't have peace in our times. You getting that little piece of paper and Hitler's signature, that didn't help anybody out. They're bombing Ukraine right now. They bombed them overnight on Thursday. They bombed them on Friday. There's supposed to be a meeting. There's supposed to be a meeting in Saudi Arabia and Jeddah. So the Ukraine and American officials, not Donald, but I believe Zelensky is going to meet with Steve Witkoff in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, which is an interesting place. Saudi Arabia? Remember what they did to that damn journalist? What was it? Shishagi? And then, of course, there was 9/11. Does anybody in the United States remember 9/11? Saudi Arabia attacked us on 9/11, and then we attacked two other countries that wasn't Saudi Arabia. Russia's got more troops than America. Russia has 1.5 million troops. America's got 1.25. Donald's pushing for a final solution in Gaza, too, to get the job done. To get the job done. That's what he wants to do. I remember the Orange Revolution like it was yesterday. It was back in the winter of 2004. Yanukovych versus Yushchenko. Yushchenko versus Yanukovych. So I don't know how much more bombing is going to happen. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You're going to wait till fucking 4 more days? 4 more days. Donald, he was talking some shit recently. Listen to what Donald's got to say.
President Putin is bombing Ukraine.
Yeah.
Do you still believe him when he tells you that he wants peace?
Yeah, no, I believe him. I believe him. I think.
The question is, do you still believe Putin when he says he wants peace? He's bombing the shit out of Ukraine. He's bombing the hell out of them. Not only, there's 2 reports. One was more specific than the other. Time.com didn't say where they came up with hundreds, but hundreds of dead Ukrainians. The shit that Donald is doing is causing Ukrainians to die. 11 was killed in Dobropilya and Dobropilya. 11 were killed. 30 were injured because of Putin and Donald. 3 were killed in Bogodukhiv. In Bogodukhiv, 3 were killed. In Dobropilya, 11 was killed. 30 injured. In Dobropilya, 7 injured in Bogodukhiv. Odessa was bombed too. 2 was killed, so 15 individuals were killed. Says one report. Another report says hundreds were killed. This shit is getting, people are dying because of this shit.
We're doing very well with Russia, but right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine. And Ukraine, I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week, early. And we're talking, I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, they're bombing the hell out of them right now.
They got all the cards. What are we talking about cards for? You know, get fucking serious. Use a football metaphor, you fucking pussy. Zelensky, he's got Pokemon cards. He's got an ace up his sleeve. Not only does he got titanium, not only does Zelensky got rare earth minerals, he's got an ace in the hole there, Jack. He's got a royal flush there, Karen. He's got cards like Gambit. You know what I'm talking about, X-Men. Zelensky's got the biggest military in Europe. Zelensky's got the biggest military in Europe. You're going to turn your back on your friends and your allies in Europe. You're not going to be the leader of the free world anymore. Well, it looks like Zelensky's going to have to stand up. Looks like Zelensky's the leader of the free world now.
And I put a statement in, a very strong statement. Can't do that. Can't do that.
Mr. President.
We're trying to help them. And Ukraine has to get on the ball and get a job.
Help me help you. Help me help you. You know, after 9/11 had happened, the Ukraine had deployed 5,000 troops to help America. You know how many troops Russia deployed? 0. So you got a bunch of troops in Zursk right now. Troops in Zursk are surrounded. And then that satellite images, I hear that Putin has got American satellite images now. So we're going to stab our ally in the back, and we're going to side with the other goddamn person. Not only are we going to cut financing and the satellite images to Ukraine, but we're going to give the satellite images to fucking Putin? This shit's borderline treason. What can we impeach for? We're allowed to impeach for treason, right? We're allowed to impeach over bribery, treason, and high crimes and misdemeanors. I mean, 100 fucking killed. That seems like some high crimes and misdemeanors to me. And when it comes to bribing, I mean, there wasn't any collusion, right? We never found any collusion. So what we figured out is Donald never concluded any real estate deals in Russia, but he tried to. Independent Russians have invested heavily in Trump properties. And after Don declared bankruptcy in the 90s, he borrowed a bunch of money from the Russians. Will you knock it off? Putin has fired 58 missiles, 200 drone strikes from Kharkiv to Ternopil. This shit is some bullshit. Remember, it was that perfect phone call. Don is friends with Putin. Don is friends with Putin, but he's not friends with Zelensky. Donald got impeached over Zelensky. Remember that perfect phone call where, there was no quid pro quo, wink wink. There was no quid pro quo. I asked for a quid, not a quo. So Donald is extremely petulant. Donald is an extreme petulant crybaby, insecure. Suka, he thinks international politics has to do with how leaders of foreign countries treat him as an individual. If you got a bunch of criminal gangsters and then you got a bunch of victims of criminal gangsters, you got the Tren de Aragua and then you have the victims of Tren de Aragua. I bet the victims would probably be like, you need to do something now. Whereas Tren de Aragua would be like, hey bro, what's going on? You don't have to do nothing. We got this. Putin is attacking Ukraine's energy and gas infrastructure, he says. Yeah, that's why hundreds of Ukrainians have been killed. Donald has suspended the money and the intelligence since that argument. Talk about an overreaction. 9/11 happens and then 1 million Iraqis had to die. Talk about an overreaction. October 7th happened. 1,200 people were killed. So now 300,000, maybe 400,000 Palestinians have been killed. How many kids do you got to kill in the West Bank and Gaza? How many slaughter of the innocents do you need to do in Bethlehem? You know what King Herod did? And Pharaoh did that to the people of Moses. And King Herod did that to the people of Bethlehem. A slaughter of the innocents. A massacre of the innocents. Donald, when he says that Putin is pounding the Ukraine right now, he says it gleefully. He says it like he's real happy. Like he went ahead and stopped the dam. He stopped the shield. He stopped the Iron Dome. When it comes to the liberals, a lot of them want to be like, you know what, we shouldn't hate. We shouldn't have any guns. We shouldn't do any wars, because it's icky. It's just icky. But let's say you got yourself a 26-year dictator terrorist pile of shit, criminal wickedness incarnate. And this 26-year dictator terrorist, a pile of shit, criminal wickedness incarnate, who executes political opponents, doesn't give a damn about the rule of law, constitution, fair elections. Let's say he wanted to rape and pillage your town, community, your wife and your kids. What would liberals do? Hey guys, this is no time for a war. This is no time for any guns. And we definitely can't hate. Let's not hate, It's alright to be chill most of the time. But when the circumstances call for it, maybe you should stand up. Maybe you should have a backbone. Maybe you should be formidable. If the Civil War, if it came down to whether or not you're on the side of Ukraine or Russia, I think you should decide which side are you on. Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? They say in Harlan County, there are no neutrals there. You You can either be a union man or a gun thug for J.H. Blair. Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? Here's J.D. Vance.
There's like a lot of pressure on Ukraine, but not much pressure on Russia. Do you expect to do maybe more sanctions on Russia or any other steps to pressure both sides if you want to have them on a negotiation table?
Well, I don't think that's right, actually. I mean, we still have a number of sanctions that are placed on the Russians. We do believe that the Russians economically are struggling because of this conflict. We do believe that it's in Russia's best interest, but also Ukraine and the United States' best interest to bring this conflict to a close. So we believe in applying pressure to everybody to stop the killing, because that's what the president's policy is, and that's what's in the best interest of the American people.
Yeah, right. That's some bullshit. You bullshit lying son of a bitch. Who the hell is Steve Witkoff? J.D. Vance is so up goddamn Putin's asshole, it's not even funny. One's doing a little reach around, the other one's getting the petroleum jelly for the rim job. They're all about that mandate, and when you talk about that mandate, something about cutting Medicaid or something. Zelensky wants peace ASAP. Zelensky also wants security as reliable as possible. Let's get ourselves some peace and security. Peace, love, justice, security. Putin owns 20%. Putin occupies 20%. Putin has stolen 20% of Ukraine. But you got to occupy it, right? And which means you need an occupying force. Really, all the Ukraine needs to do is just survive. If the Ukrainian army just survives, George Washington lost most of his damn battles, and all he needed was one decisive battle at the end. Because if you're an empire, well, you got to continue to send money, send guns, send people, in order to occupy the damn thing. Russia's the biggest fucking country in the world. Why do they need another fucking country? And then what about all the, the Baltic states? What about Estonia? What about Lithuania? What about Belarus and Poland and Moldova, Romania? You're telling me that Putin's just going to stop with Ukraine after he just got everything that he wanted? Why is Donald capitulating? Why is Donald giving every fucking thing that Putin wants? Is it for that Trump Tower that he wants to build in Russia? Ukraine is the biggest fucking country in the world. Hey, America, you're not number one in land mass. Russia is. Russia also has a bigger fucking military. And it's one thing to, not supply the money and the satellite imagery. It's another thing to give the satellite images to fucking Putin himself. Just like the American Revolution, Zelensky is fighting an imperialist occupying oppressor. He's fighting a foreign colonizer. He's fighting for freedom. He's fighting for the republic. The Ukrainians got themselves a Bill of Rights and a constitution. The Ukraine is fighting for their own independence. This is a revolution. He quotes the Battle of Saratoga. This is a hell of a gambit. Hold my breath, and it's like, well, I'm just supposed to trust this fucking guy? I'm just supposed to trust this fucking guy. Let's hope, man, this shit's getting scary.